So I'm on the BJJ Fanatics website, and I see 3 new videos by some guy named Thomas Radzinski. You familiar with that guy at all?
Nope, absolutely not.
No? Well, he's got some good stuff. Three brand new videos. They're getting amazing reviews, which is good to see as well. But you got to tell us about them real quick?
Yeah, I had, you guys already know, but I had opportunity to go to Boston, shoot 3 more instructionals, 1 on butterfly hook, complete guide for butterfly hook, 2 wrap, lapel, and submit them, and 3 we have taking the back. It's particularly designed for guys for over 40 because there's no climbing involved. All the back takes are on the ground. Very, very full and effective system. So dip into it. I'm really hoping that this is going to help your jiu-jitsu and really take it to the next level.
BJJfanatics.com. Just search ROZDZ. We have all had that situation where after class is when we want to ask a question. And Thomas, a lot of those questions you've already answered, right, at Ask a Black Belt.
Yeah, it's another podcast that I'm running. It's on podcast, all podcast platforms, plus on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. Just search for my name. Search for Ask a Black Belt. At this point, over 100 episodes, different questions, jiu-jitsu, life-related, but something that everybody comes across, and often these questions sink in our mind, but we don't ask for whatever reason. So if that benefits you, go there, listen. It actually might help your jiu-jitsu, might help your life as well. And if you have any questions, find me on Instagram and drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer your question and mention your name during the episode.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we are live.
Yeah, we are. You shook everything when you did your clap today. Everything's moving around. You also, I wonder if people who do watch this on YouTube and all that, if they notice when you take notes.
Does it?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I wouldn't know because I'm looking in different directions. Does it shake? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I can see it, on my computer screen. I can see that the camera's
It's shifting away.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't shake so much that things move.
That's what happens.
Change position, everything just jiggles a little.
That's what happens when you get strong grip and.
Yeah, sure. It's your strong grip.
Well,
I guess I'll have to use my strong grip to hold the table down while you're making your notes. So, you know what it is. You know why?
Tell me.
Because you're all stressed all the time. So when you write, you're like, you'll probably see the words. Like if you take a pencil and shade over the page underneath what you're writing, you probably do like 15, 16 pages deep. You could probably still see what you wrote. And it's because you're stressed. You need to de-stress. I'm leaving.
Should we talk about why am I stressed? Who I work with? The stress.
Yeah, Edgar's awful. I understand fully. I don't spend as much time with him as you do, and I'm stressed because of it. So,
I do have to say, you're by far more entertaining when we do these takeaways than you are during the actual one. So why is that?
Experts talk, the jiu-jitsu talk. I'll talk about the other stuff.
The other stuff?
Listen, yeah. They have their.
No, I don't. That's what I'm asking.
They're telling their story, and you ask them questions, and then they tell their story as it relates to that question. And sometimes I have a couple. Some of these guys are long-winded, and you're like, that makes me think. And then I get tired. I notice a lot of times I'm like, I'd like to go back, and sometimes it's it gets so far away that I don't bother. Or sometimes they answer it on their own. Because they're and they're great. I'm just messing around, but they end up answering that question on their own because they've been talking for a couple more minutes. So
like managing the conversation is
you're good at.
It's harder. That's not what I'm saying, but it's harder than one would envision.
I thought I'd be better at it, and I'm terrible at it. But I think it's because it's like I said, it's they're talking about their story in jiu-jitsu. If they like when we have the guests that
the hippies.
When we have the hippies, even though it's a strong word, I hate hippies. But when we have the hippies on, or guys like that love pop culture, You know, if we got somebody who's got comic books in the background or wants to talk about Seinfeld, I'm all in.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I noticed that. You don't even let me jump in. Like,
well, you don't know anything.
You're right. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Come on, your pop culture references
Shot
are
fired.
pretty bad.
Well, I wasn't here. How am I supposed to know
You've
these
been there
things?
since you were 13. You're 10 years younger than me, and there's 10, 6 or 8, something like that. You know, but I admittedly know far too much about nothing. You know, like, it's just, you know, the stuff that fills my brain and the references. Like,
You understand that we are recording this, and
Yeah.
this is going out in the public field,
right? And people can relate. People can relate. You know, I got a buddy Brian that I text. I'll text him a Seinfeld reference about 2 to 5 minutes before it happens in the episode, and then he'll respond. And then I show it to Margaret, and she's like, "You guys are idiots."
Wow.
Because she'll see it come up on the screen, and she'll laugh, and I'll show her my phone that Brian and I talked about it 5 minutes ago, and she's just like, "You guys are idiots." But Thursday nights, man, I watched a lot of Seinfeld, and then I watch it in reruns too. It distresses me to get back to the topic.
Yeah, that's one of the shows that I haven't seen.
Yeah, you got to watch it from the beginning.
I've seen some bits and pieces. Like, I know what show you're talking about, but
Right.
I've never watched the whole thing.
No, it's amazing.
What year was that? Now we completely pivoting off of the topic, but I'm curious actually.
I want to say 90, 91. The very first episode may have been 89, and then it ended in like 97 or 98.
So the sitcom that I remember, like earlier on, it was Everybody Loves Raymond. Is that after Seinfeld?
I think around the same time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, maybe a little later, but I'm thinking around the same time.
Okay.
You know.
So I watched
Hey,
Everybody Loves
what's his
Raymond.
name? What's his name on Rogan? Hey, Jason, can you look that up for us?
Hey, Jason. We need Jason. Wait, that's your job, isn't
Is it? Oh shit, I don't want to be that guy. Here, let's find out.
Well, so
I'm
last.
looking it up.
Okay. While you're looking it up, we need like one of those big screens where we have a big screen and you can look it up, put it on the screen.
Yeah.
I could be like Joe Rogan. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Jason, put it on. Hey, Gary, put it on the
Put it
screen.
on the screen. We're getting way too far away, but there's if anybody knows who Bob Cross is, or David Cross, he's got a podcast that he makes fun of that all the time. Everybody Loves Raymond, 1996 to 2005. So yeah,
So that's later.
It started while Seinfeld was still going on, but yeah, ran after.
Yeah.
So
Anyhow,
there you go. There's your sitcom references for the week.
there you go.
Next week we'll be bringing up.
We just lost all of the listeners. Literally, everybody
People
tuned
love
out.
television. Next week it'll be let's see, Suddenly Susan and News Radio. There you go.
I have
Right,
no
two,
clue.
yeah, exactly. Back in the 90s.
No clue. No clue what you're talking
Thursday nights, man, must watch television.
about. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right.
enough.
So why is life so stressful?
Why is life so stressful? Yeah.
Because
So
people
listen, first of all, and I said this before, but I do have to bring it up because every time when you are not here and I got to do this by myself, one, it's harder.
Yeah.
It's harder. So
you have more buttons to push.
well, it's not only that, but like it's just like everything is on me, and
Yeah.
it's much like I don't have the safety net, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really happened in a long time, but there was a lot, like the first, few dozen, if not more episodes, there'd be times where we would look at each other like one of us has to do something here because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore because I think, it's like I said before, you got the questions down, you know how to change it, push the conversation along. But yeah, it's good to have somebody across the table to be like,
But
are we headed? Can we change the topic?
Yeah.
Or I need you now, or time. Wrap it up. We got to get to the previous guest question.
I almost forgot about that, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's like
to get it from
Yeah.
from Paulo.
Yeah. So it's like, but not only that, I think that really the conversation, the dynamic of the conversation really changes.
Yeah. Well,
Like that's like what I noticed when the last episode when I was talking to Paul and you were not here. Even though like I feel like you could contribute more in a conversation and a lot of times you just sit back and you kind of you listen.
Yeah.
Right. But just you being present. It just I feel like it changes the conversation to trio versus dual exchange back and forth.
Sometimes you need somebody to jump in because for various reasons.
Right.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things he was talking about is, why he's been doing this since like 88 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
88. He started 88, age of 14. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys were on the topic of why he loves it so much. And he talked about it being a de-stressor. And I think, you and I, when we were deciding on what to talk about, we were talking about stressful lives, or why do we live such stressful lives? So after 10 minutes, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah. Well, so why do you think we live so stressful lives?
I think we're conditioned to. I think we are conditioned that if you take time off, or if you're not constantly doing something, that's a negative. And I don't think that applies everywhere, all over the world. Some people, we're fortunate in this country that we can, really run with the opportunities we have. But then, like, my previous statement, and we're also fortunate because some people don't have any kind of choice at all. If they don't work all day, every day, bad things happen to them. But I think here, we got to keep up with the Joneses. We've got to, if you're on social media, it's always about, you got to work, you got to strive, you got to embrace the grind, you got to do this, you got to do that. Otherwise,
chasing Joneses.
And otherwise it's looked at as a negative. I'm starting to think that, the pendulum needs to swing back the other way. People need to find the things that make them happy, that don't cause them any stress, and like, people talk about like jiu-jitsu is a distressor. It helps you forget things, and it does. But at the same time, it's like, if you want to get good, well, now you got to do homework. If you're not watching videos or you're taking privates, you got to get more rounds in, and then you're not getting better for whatever reason, whatever your limitations are. So it can be stressful too. And I think that, people need to find the balance between, work life. It's not necessarily 50-50. We bring our work home with us now because it's so convenient on our phones, on our laptops. That's not the reason why, I don't think, but it's definitely contributing factors. So I don't know.
Well, there is something behind it, all of this, right? I mean, I think culturally, this country is very driven off of opportunities, but opportunity, that's all it is. It's an opportunity. It's a start, right? I think the second step or factor behind that opportunity is actually the work that's going to take place. And I think, like, I have contact with people in Europe, and, I was born over there, and I even remember, this is decades ago at this point, but excuse me. But even to this point, I think that, first of all, let me say this. I don't know if stressless life even exists. Like, are we able to have completely stress-free life? Because, and hear me out. Hold on. Before you say it, hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we stress about the amount of work that we have, or about things that we surround ourselves in our life. If you look at Europe, or perhaps at some other areas of the world, they might not have the amount of work that we have, but they might have other things that stress them out.
Sure.
Right? So, and as part of that culture that's being developed in the areas where we live. So, is there a perfect place in the world to live?
No.
Where there is literally no stress whatsoever?
Probably not. I think that, would probably be the ultimate goal, but we don't set ourselves on the path to get that stressless life. We set ourselves on the path to creating more. We have to have more. We have
here.
Yeah, here
in the U.S.
Yeah, and then, but we do it in almost every faction of our lives. I've never been to Europe, unfortunately, but stories I've heard is like, okay, you go into a cafe, you go into a restaurant, and they seat you, and then it's a while before anybody comes over.
Yeah.
And then you order something to drink, and like the service is slow, but it's
not slow because they don't care. See, this is the differentiator.
It's not like they don't care. They're not in the back on their phone.
But the life is slower
Right.
in general.
Yes.
So like you go for dinner and it's a literally 2.5, 3 hour event.
Right. And here it's like
45 minutes and you out.
We have to go because we have something else to do.
Yeah,
we have to
exactly.
go because we have A, B, and C.
Yeah.
But
it's not even that. Like you can take this, and I'm sure there are plenty other people who are better example of this or who witnessing this on daily basis. But I know firsthand examples that the people that I talk to, it's like it because of this slower pace life, which is very enjoyable, there is a less work less work opportunities. And because of that, people don't have as much opportunities to support their families. And you end up in situations like where, you know, newly married couples stay living at home with their parents until they are 35.
Yeah.
Because they don't have money to purchase a house.
And guess what? Even with all that we have here, that's happening more and more for different reasons. But that's the thing. So like having even this, you know, I think this is where I'm very, maybe just, I feel sometimes lucky that I had the opportunity to live in different areas of the world and have different perspectives and continuously gaining some perspectives with people that I talk to from overseas. But I don't know if there is a perfect place to live because they have their own struggles. Like they have their own struggles. And I don't know if I would trade it, to be honest with you. Well,
like some of the things that I hear is like shit, like how does this even work? Like my brain doesn't wrap around it that way. And probably because I'm already what is it called? Conditioned to what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just what I know. But some of the things are just mind blowing to me.
You know, I think that we prioritize the wrong thing. We prioritize the things. I'm reading a Tolstoy book. It's a collection of things he's read over the years and put it together. And it's a page a day. It's like the calendar year. It's not like a quote calendar, but you know, it's a full page of text for every day of the year. And a lot of it has to do with like happiness and achieving happiness and what that means. And it's talks more about spiritual happiness and love and, you know, doing for others and sacrifice, that type of sacrifice. And I think here happiness is the house you own, the car you drive, the clothes you wear, you know, what you can afford, the vacations you can go on. And you're doing all these things for 2 weeks of vacation instead of, I know somebody who lives in Colorado. She used to live here. She's a surgeon. And she probably worked harder than most up until, you know, she was in her mid-30s. And now everything I see from her is skiing, hiking, biking with her nieces and nephews, her dogs. And it's not a fake Instagram life. It's like, you know, she gets in the morning. She cranks out a bunch of surgery. She's a veterinary surgeon. She does the job. And then the rest of her day, she is now living in a beautiful place where she wanted to live. And she's taking advantage of the surroundings, where a lot of people are working and living in a place they don't really want to live in. They don't have wonderful things like that to do many months out of the year. And so the priorities are different, you know, and I think we probably need to prioritize what truly makes you happy. And when you can start achieving some of those things, then life becomes a lot less stressful. You don't care as much. You don't need to have a, you know, this always bothered me. And it still does. You don't have to have a starter home, right? What's a starter home? It's the house you buy.
Oh, because next one you're gonna be better,
bigger in a nicer place, right?
I didn't even know what you're talking about.
And it's like, why can't that first house be the house that you pay off, right? You don't have a mortgage on it for forever. And then your kids are grown. Your kids grew up in that house. They go away to college. They start their lives. They come back. Rather than, we got to work, get a little bit of return on that starter house so we can put it into a bigger house and then work to pay for that house.
Mhm.
And then it's changing a little bit, a new car every 6 years, right? That car's got 60,000 miles on it. I got to trade it in. All that leads, it's just this endless cycle of working for material objects rather than taking the time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And what do you want to enjoy out of life? Do you want to enjoy time spent with your family, with your loved ones, your friends? That 3-hour dinner instead of meeting somebody for 45 minutes because you got to get back to it. And I see happiness for me, especially now that I'm getting older, is about relaxing. But by relaxing, I don't mean like sitting around and doing nothing.
Doing the things that you like.
Yeah, we're going.
Enjoy.
Yeah, this weekend I'm taking the kids indoor rock climbing. Some people would hate to do that, but for me, at this point, it's like I want to see the look on their faces when they're doing something like that. I want to hear their laughing, their voices, having a good time and laughing, and share a shared experience, rather than getting them another iPad, or getting,
Yeah.
We got them really nice bikes for Christmas. It's not, my happiness from that doesn't come from, look what I did, I got them nice bikes. It's
You want to
from
see them,
right?
Yeah.
Maddie
Yeah.
took it. It's winter here. Weather's been nice this week. I saw on the Ring video Maddie pulling it out of the garage and going for a ride with her friend, and it was like, that makes me so happy that she, the weather's been okay and she's able to get out and be with her friends. So it comes from that, not the fact that I went to a bike shop and got her, something expensive. And those things are the things that lead, that tamper down the stress for me.
Yeah.
Long-winded.
Well, I think I think this is actually, it's great to hear, you open up in that way.
And then I come
it's
here and it just starts.
I see. Oh, I see.
I mean,
I see. I see. I did. Oh, this is where this was really going. Oh, okay. Take a sip of that coffee. That's right.
That's the other thing that distracts.
But listen, this might be the longest takeaway we've ever done. But at some point, I think we all have to identify these things that make us happy. And I think bridging this into jiu-jitsu from life is stressful. There's no doubt about it. No matter where you live, I believe life is stressful. But that's why we need these decompressors. We need to find something that really we enjoy, and in some sense allows us to decompress, relax, get some of that enjoyment in life. And this might be simple things like watching rain, or sitting outside and enjoying the sun on a beach, or watching the kids riding the bike, or maybe for others is having that couple hours of jiu-jitsu. But I think the moment we disengage from that de-stressor, this is where I think life leads into even more stressful situations, because oftentimes these simple moments keep us really on track. This is the balance, that these little triggers that keep us balanced in our life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. And, when you have those days or moments of joy and happiness, it helps you psychologically deal with the not so great stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all about, mindset too. And anytime something not so great happens in my life, I always try to remember that there's somebody who has it way worse.
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
That's true.
Who, no matter what's going on, people listening to this, I'm 100% confident in this statement. No matter what you're going through, somebody is going through something worse.
Yeah.
But
the fact we are probably on the on the upper side of happiness, in my opinion.
Yeah, if there's
If there is a scale of
Yeah.
having it good and having it worse,
grumpy, right? All the time, I'm grumpy. So
well, that
and I'm happier than most. What does that say?
I love that stuff. But listen, not to stretch this topic
I know
out,
you got to go do tag fit.
but then why do we find a million reasons not to do what we truly enjoy?
The main.
I mean, you are in the front. You talk oftentimes with people coming in and going out here at the academy. And how many times do you hear somebody saying, "I don't have time for jiu-jitsu,"
right.
or
happens every day.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So if we acknowledge that this is something we love, if we acknowledge this makes us happy, if this is a destresser, if this is the balancer,
Mhm.
why in the world we are unable to make it a priority? Because we have the time. We all have 24 hours in a day. Like, it's just
Because
there- some of us are not more
It's amazing, and like there's opportunities, right?
but not even talking about this academy, but
No,
just
I'm
in
just saying-
general, wherever you are in the world, is why we don't prioritize the things that make us happy. And this is not only jiu-jitsu related. You like being on the beach? You like reading a book? Well, then why aren't you reading a book?
Yeah.
Why are you doing something else? Why are you doing stupid stuff instead of really doing things that you enjoy? Aren't you in charge of your own decisions?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think that we get put in this box where we think that work is the only option. People work, guys. People men and women get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. They don't get home till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
And it's insane, and it's not a healthy lifestyle. And when you're unhealthy, you're stressed. When you're overworked, you're stressed. When you don't have time for yourself, you're stressed. And all that builds and builds and builds, right? And then something's got to give. But unfortunately, you might have set yourself up into a position where you don't think there's a way out. So yeah, you do have to reprioritize. And you can always go with less. You can always downsize. You can always put another 60,000 miles on that car. You can, there's a lot of ways to, make things less stressful, financially, time-wise. You just got to reprioritize.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
I hope things get easier for everybody. But ultimately it is our choice what we do.
Sure.
Reprioritizing sometimes is a necessary task as we go through it.
Yeah. So now I don't know what to title this. Is it going to be de-stress? Is it going to be prioritized?
Well, you might be stressed because of that.
No, it'll be easy. It'll be an easy one. All right. Are we done?
Gary's in charge of this episode.
I'm in charge of everything. People just don't know it.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
See you later.
Later.
Hey, I'm going to press the button. I'm in charge.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.